The combine is coming. There's a lot of guys that are going to be drafted out of Alabama's program into the NFL. And look, if things fall a certain way, the first 2 picks could be coming from Alabama.
It is possible, yeah. I think right now, most people would tell you that the kind of top 3 players are Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and Jalen Carter out of Georgia. It's a matter of what does how do things fall, right? Because the Chicago Bears, I mean, if it was the Houston Texans, we would say, okay, they're going to go quarterback. It's a matter of determining which one. With the Chicago Bears, they have Justin Fields. Do they trade him away and take one of these quarterbacks? Do they trade the number 1 overall pick, which is where it's kind of trending? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know who's going to hold the number 1 pick before it's all said and done because Chicago's shopping it. I guarantee you somebody's going to move up. It might be Houston just moving up 1 spot. Could be the Indianapolis Colts sitting there at number 4. Could be one of those, teams, like the Carolina Panthers sitting at number 9. So many possibilities, but it might not necessarily be for Bryce Young. Like that's kind of been the understanding is that he's one of those top 3 prospects and the top quarterback. But, people are expecting him to check in around, 5'10", 5'10 and a half at the combine. And there's some concerns about durability. Anthony Richardson's a guy who's getting a lot of buzz early in the draft process. Will Levis is another one. You've seen him at the top, according to some mock drafts. And then also you've got CJ Stroud. So it might not be Bryce Young, but I think people are making a huge mistake if they take anyone other than Young.
Right. Hey, look, I don't disagree with you. Anything about the combine and the process that has surprised you?
Not really. I think nowadays, like the news broke earlier this morning, actually, that Bryce Young is only going to interview with teams. He's not going to participate in any of the combine drills, on-field drills. And Will Anderson Jr. he's not going to be a full participant either. He's going to participate in some stuff. He's not going to participate in everything. And I think that shocked a lot of people. But at the same time, I don't think Bryce Young has a whole lot to gain in a combine-like setting. Mm-hmm. Not going to be super impressive physically. His arm strength is above average. I don't think it's elite. What he does as far as mental processing and pre and post snap, all that stuff, he's not going to be able to put that on display. So, he thrives in chaos when everything's breaking down around him. And you're not going to be able to put that on display in a combine-like setting. So I just don't think it really, there's nothing that's going to be there that's really going to benefit him. So he wants to wait and get, do all of his drills and stuff at Alabama's Pro Day. So I understand that.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, you feel like you get to the point where there's a body of work out there that you can look at, and it's like, look, either you're going to check out that body of work or you're going to go in there and then someone's going to critique everything about you. I mean, they're going to be trying to say that he's too small, he's too thin, and all that kind of stuff. He's going to go through that. We've seen his arm strength. We've seen his ability to throw downfield. He's a winner. So I'm curious, like last time around, Mac Jones kind of in the draft slid back, and I don't remember how the whole process went, but I just remember teams talking about him, and then all of a sudden a lot of negativity hit, and then he went from maybe being someone that would have gone earlier in the draft to the Patriots. I think they had the 15th or 16th pick, right? I doubt that Bryce Young's going to go very far back. I mean, look, if the first pick isn't going to be him, I think Houston will take him at number 2.
Well, I think the biggest problem with the NFL draft is that it happens too far out from the college football season. And what I mean by that is it gives NFL evaluators and decision makers too much time to make a mistake, right? I mean, when you were just watching Bryce Young run around and do incredible things, the further you get from that, all you have to look at is what they look like in shorts and helmets, or not even helmets, and shorts and T-shirts, and what they look like, throwing the football around against air. And, teams are going to convince themselves that the athletic marvels, right? The Anthony Richardsons, like he's going to probably do extremely well in a combine-like setting. Will Levis, big, quarterback, is going to look physically impressive, is going to run well. And he's got a really strong arm. He's going to be able to put that on display. That's going to help him in his draft stock and how it's being perceived. But when you actually go back and turn on the tape and you actually watch these guys play football, which is what they're being paid to do, that's what you're going to be drafting them for. I mean, it's not a throwing contest as far as how far you can throw it or, how fast you are and all those things. It's how well can you play the game of football. I think Bryce is the best quarterback in the draft, and I'll continue to say that, regardless of what his size says, regardless of the arm strength. There are concerns. I'm not saying he's a perfect prospect, but I still think he's the best one in this draft class for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is too. And I think he's going to be an excellent NFL pro. And a lot of that is going to come down to what team drafts him, because system matters, the players around you matter. But if you were building, he'd be a great guy to build around. And in the NFL, the way things are with the salary cap, it doesn't take the team a long time to get some pieces.
Absolutely. And I'd be curious to get your take and the listeners' takes as far as where would you want him to go, right? Because there is the possibility, Houston sitting there at number 2, and I've been a pretty big advocate for it. You've got, from an Alabama fan perspective, you would have the quarterback of the Houston Texans be an Alabama guy, a player who's supposed to be the face of the defense or one of the faces of the defense in Christian Harris. You would have John Mechie coming back, who has familiarity with Bryce Young, so you can get that Alabama to Alabama connection like you've got with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Waddle. And then the head coach, the guy that's in charge. You wasn't a Nick Saban player, but he was kind of one of those, fan favorites before Nick Saban got to Alabama, and D'Amico Ryans. He's the head coach, so I would like that landing spot. I think the Indianapolis Colts, as far as their offensive line, their receivers, you got a heck of a running back there, so you would have a good complementary run game. I think you would be set up for better success in Indianapolis, but I personally like Houston.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I'll take Houston. I think that would be a great fit. It's a Southern team, Dallas, Houston, and the whole state of Texas, a ton of Alabama people out there. The whole combination of having an Alabama quarterback and Alabama receiver has proved in the NFL that it really works. You talked about Tua and Waddle. Don't forget Jalen Hurts and Smitty, who were in the Super Bowl this year. But honestly, I would love to see the Ravens trade Lamar Jackson and figure out a way to get him. I think he would be such a good fit. Now, I know that's not going to happen, but I'm a Ravens fan, so I can dream here. Okay.
Hey, Ozzie Newsome is still in that building, and as long as he's there, the Alabama, player holds weight in that building.
Yeah, no doubt about it.